Welcome to the show that looks at truth, fiction, and reality with a smirk. I'm Aaron Peterson.
I'm Amanda Sink.
And I'm Zack Parkerson.
And welcome to Smirk. Each week, one of our hosts introduces an original story, which we then use as a springboard for a lighthearted and spirited discussion on whatever the moral or theme of their story is. This week, it is Zack's turn. I'm nervous.
Death and despair.
No, I think it's going to be upbeat. I have faith this time. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Inspirational, I would say.
Oh,
Like
dear
Rocky.
God.
I'm thinking Rocky. That's what, underdog rises up, gets his ass kicked anyway, so you spent 2 hours waiting for him to win, and he doesn't.
Wow, what a smart movie that was.
It really was. When you go back and you rewatch it, you're like, he kind of sucked.
Wow.
But he fought.
Spoilers.
Yeah, that's what matters. It matters that you tried. That's the moral of the story.
I just want to point out, Amanda just said spoilers for a 40-some-year-old movie.
I saw Creed 2, so I know
Yeah.
some history of that.
That reminds me when the Hobbit movies are coming out, and I was like, no spoilers. I'm like, the book is 65 years old.
People don't read, Zach. People
It's
don't
not
read.
on me.
That's why I'm shocked they listen to this pod. Well, we're reading to them, so that's different.
They don't have to read.
Yeah.
True.
Are people still listening? I forget.
That's debatable. All right, go ahead. Take us away, man.
All right. Gather around the campfire. It's time for a story. Aaron can't steal that intro ever again. Their forces seemed overwhelming as they approached. Those uniforms of theirs used to inspire hope, but now most people reacted with fear. The conflict had felt so far away, but I guess that's the thing with war. It always comes to your doorstep. We had a small militia here in town, but it was nothing compared to the vast number of troops approaching. Their general approached and asked for a captain. John stepped forward, because he was our militia leader, but John was also a bartender, not a soldier. We shot targets once a week, but we were not a force. They were a force. Their conversation got intense quickly. I couldn't make out the full details, but it sounded like they thought we were stashing stolen military supplies in town. I hadn't heard that before, but it was probably true. Our small growing country was growing more and more rebellious as the months passed. It would explain why we rushed all the women and children out of town last night. But the conversation eventually ended, and John asked us to lay down our arms. But that idiot must have been sick or probably hungover, and not everyone heard him. I sure wasn't going to be the first man to lay down his rifle, and it appeared everyone else felt the same. Or they didn't hear, because no one put down their guns, and no one moved. We were ready to stand our ground. In an instant, everything changed. I'm not sure who shot first or where from, but a gunshot rang out, and quickly did more rings of gunfire fill the air. Almost all of them came from their massive army, and as I looked around, I saw my neighbors and friends begin to die. I got down on one knee and fired off a single round. It was some nameless soldier, but I got him right between the eyes. Then I felt a sharp pain in my neck as I tumbled to the ground. Gasping for air as I lay dying, a small thought comforted me. Though I may die today, I showed them even gods could be scarred.
Wow. That's like 300.
Well, yes, that is how the movie 300 ended. That is true.
This
Is
is
it?
Sparta!
I know that.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I didn't mean to spoil 300, a 15-year-old movie.
Oh, I don't care about that. I'm never going to watch
But
it.
we're not cool with a 40-year-old spoiler.
Whoa,
No.
wait, I'm sorry. Sidebar here. You've never seen 300?
No.
You're not more angry about Rocky?
I think
No,
I've
of course
seen
not.
Rocky.
Zack Snyder made 300, therefore that movie matters more.
Your priorities are messed up.
I would say.
Zack Snyder is one of the greatest working directors of our time.
Yeah, it's ironic.
Is he
since
working?
He's not working.
Yeah,
That's
he's making a
mean.
movie about the zombies in Vegas.
All right. Stealing my
I
ideas.
respect him.
Shout out to Zack.
Is it just because you share the same name with him? Is this like a
We was-
very narcissistic thing?
Well,
Only
No, not
people named
necessarily.
Zach he loves. That guy's, what's your name? Zach. Oh, you're right. You're right on.
With an
he
H
spells
or a
it the
K?
right way. That's a big deal. It's Z-A-C-K. He spells it correctly. Also, he made a 3-hour sad Batman movie, so that appealed to me directly.
Yeah.
That's what gets to you.
All right. What was the moral? Because I don't know.
Oh, well,
I mean-
what's the moral of the story?
It never quit. Never lay down.
Ooh, nice. I like it.
Even the strongest can be defeated.
Great. Those are smart. I wrote force is sometimes necessary. Actually, you know what? Force is always necessary. How about that?
Did you just get darker?
I think you did.
Like mid-thought he was reading, he's like, that's not dark enough. Scratch, scratch, scratch.
Yes, now that I think about it. Just saying, man. The world only makes sense if you force it to.
Wow, I was having a whole Karate Kid vibe, and it's like never surrender and da da da, and you just make it just so evil, just so dark.
You're right.
All right, so what do you want to talk about with this? Everybody died.
Yeah, that's it.
Well,
I just wanted to share that story.
Great win.
You can just wrap it up now.
Not the person who shot him in the neck. That person's alive.
Oh yeah, well the person that killed him. Yeah, I guess I'm saying all of his side dead.
Oh sure.
I'll never understand the logic of that.
What about your side dying? What are you talking about?
Well, I'm gonna die on this mountain. I'm gonna die fighting. They'll never take our land, or they'll take our land. They'll never take our freedom. Bitch, move! I don't understand. I mean,
get out the way.
Guess what? They get the land, and you're dead. So you lost twice in one afternoon.
You're very anti-patriotic.
It's not about being patriotic.
Go America.
Know your odds. If you know there's no shot of you pulling this out, figure something else out. Get out. Come back. Fight another day with more troops. Be Daenerys Targaryen.
You've been watching way too much.
Right, because my first question was going to be, do you think this is ever worth it?
No.
I guess I learned that.
No.
You thought the movie 300 was stupid. That's what I'm learning.
I can't stand when people call people cowards for turning from a losing proposition. The concept of you played Risk, right? We've all played Risk, the game Risk.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
The object is to win. It's not to, well, I died on Tuesday, but I died fighting. You're still dead. Great story. I don't see the point of that. It's basically the guy that plays Risk and wins. You're the guy that's not that guy. And I don't see the point of being that guy. I want to be the guy that wins. So leave, come back with a better plan.
But you, in a movie, can set the precedent for other people to
inspiration
rise up.
And all that.
You're talking Rocky. This is very Rocky. Like rise up, except for it's the same because Rocky dies. He doesn't die. Well,
Rocky never dies.
No,
he made 8 movies. He's still alive.
I meant that he lost. That's my correct
Apollo died, right?
Yeah, Apollo died.
He hit his head on a bar stool or whatever.
Is that really how he died?
No, he got killed by the Russian.
I thought he got knocked out in the ring, and on his way down, his head hit the corner stool or something like that.
He got killed by Dolph Lundgren, man. He got killed by Dolph Lundgren.
So anyway, in this story,
we should make
they're
this a
both
whole Rocky
losers.
podcast.
Yeah, what are we doing with this stuff? Rocky 4, what a film.
Sorry, what's your good man, Amanda? Sorry.
Oh, I was just saying this is very parallel to Rocky. There's people who have lots of inspiration, and then they both lose.
See? Eye of the tiger.
It's the thrill of the fight.
We can't pay them. We don't have any money.
I haven't started snapping. All right.
It's. I wouldn't put it as comparable to Rocky.
I said there are parallels.
It would be more of a parallel to 300 because that is exactly what happens in 300.
I guess. But I haven't seen that.
Why is that such a noble thing? I'll never understand it. Look, I get hey, we've got a shot of winning, or you know what? We have to win. This is the last battle for slavery or civil war or something like that. You're fighting for a cause. You don't quit. I get that, but we don't want them to take our land. They got 10,000. We got 80. I'm leaving. Bye, Jim.
Well, that's why you're not
you're
not going to be in the military. That's for sure. Like, you're not going to be out there fighting. You'd be like, I'm not doing this.
You know what I can do?
Military members have to stick their ground. I actually can
come up with a real plan that might come back and get them someday, as opposed to this plan, which is not good.
You don't think that if you prove that you can so this is an unconquerable army, but by making the stand and proving that they can be, you could take some of them down. Don't you think that inspires more people to want to rise up now that they've seen that the army isn't as strong as it presents itself to be?
Exactly.
In 1986, maybe. In 1886.
So about Rocky?
Hang on. In 1886, definitely. In 2019, absolutely not. You'd find more people inspired by Kim Kardashian playing with a frickin' army, like a toy army, than you would from anyone doing anything heroic, because we're a sad land.
I don't think that's true. I think that this is probably the most inspired generation. Have you seen all the rallies?
Bet your life on the fact that this is going to inspire people. You know what? I'm willing to die because I think this might inspire Brian down there or Rob in the next county. If
it's something that's noble enough and like people really believe in, yeah. I think sometimes it does take the one person standing up and saying, I'm going to fight this fight for other people to join them. And that's why we've seen such crazy numbers for marches.
Because they're dead. Nobody's joining
They're
them.
following up. And then the people in the follow-up are going to they're going to go to Aaron and they're going to say, all right, dude, time to make a plan.
I'm fine with if you're fighting for a real solid cause or it's noble, I'm fine for fighting, but you have to know your odds. And if you can't win the battle, maybe you reconvene and come back and kick their ass another way at a different time.
So what are we going to do when Russia missiles us?
Missiles?
Isn't that a word?
Missiles us.
I go, ow. I mean, what do you, there's nothing you could do now.
Right, but if you have that opportunity to protect your land, you're going to protect it.
It's going to be Red Dawn up at the...
Wolverines.
I want to be Patrick Swayze.
I was thinking about Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, no. That version is not applicable here.
It's a movie podcast.
I'm sorry. So what I forgot what we were even talking about.
What are we talking about? His 300 story.
Apparently I'm a coward because I'm sensical.
Nobody said you're a coward.
It feels like
you said you're a coward.
No, I said I'm not a coward. Zach, you're saying I'm a coward?
Coward.
He just likes to rile you
Would
up.
you stand and fight? Or do you get what I'm saying? Have a better plan.
I understand what you're saying, like logically, but I'm just saying that a homeboy in this story, like he was going to go down anyway. So at least he got one of them going down and proved that these people can be taken down.
Who do you prove it to?
But if you just keep running, you never fight back. You're always going to be afraid of that army. But if you've proved that there's a shot, then you can inspire more people. Sure, it sucks that you have to die. Or maybe if you're smart, you get like somebody like, you get like the 14-year-old steward of the blacksmith or something, and you send him out to fight. And you're like, oh, look at that. He killed somebody. Boy, let's all rally around Jimmy.
Is there a drone camera? Who witnessed
There's not a lot
this?
of blacksmiths these days, but
who witnesses when I finally take one of these guys down? I mean, who's there to witness it? The opposing army?
the survivors, they tell the stories, Aaron.
The only people that survived are the opposing army, and they're not going to tell the crappy stories. They're not going to tell the ones where like, we killed everybody.
No,
they're all dead.
The people, cowards like you get to tell a story because real men died.
I wouldn't see it because I'd be in the next county. I wouldn't be anywhere near it. But I'd be alive.
This felt dramatic.
Moving on. Overwhelming force of this army was moving in on this little country. Maybe think about the question, should the government fundamentally be afraid of its own people?
Oh, well, this is a more
This
interesting
feels like
question.
a good question for gun control laws.
Well, that's kind of why we have the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
Originally.
That is why we have it.
To regulate its people. I don't know when that's ever been needed, though.
That's to regulate its people, so that the people...
Or to people can regulate the government. But I don't know when that's really been...
Sometimes they don't listen. You got to shoot some people up. Don't listen
you don't know
to
what...
that.
Also, at what point...
You don't know when it's been necessary? What about the American Revolutionary War or the Civil War?
Look, I just learned what the Civil War was last year.
Or Taco Tuesday?
But no.
You got to get those 50-cent tacos.
I have a real question for you guys.
Well, he asked one already.
Hold on. I need to know this.
All right, well, this is Amanda's show. This is Amanda's world. We all just live in it.
Okay. Is this a history question?
No, but it is a...
You really aren't very good at history, are you?
I'm the worst at... I just, 2 weeks ago,
She
learned
could
what
quote,
Vietnam was.
psychological studies and stuff. But But not... Hey, really? What's Vietnam?
That was me 2 weeks ago. I was like, oh, no wonder. No wonder. Those
Oh, that's why they made all those movies?
Yeah. Well, that's
exactly. I thought it was a drama that was made up.
I didn't realize, Taxi Driver was actually part of the... Anyway. So my question is, we have this Second Amendment here, which is to, we've talked about that already.
Bear arms.
What happens if you do shoot the government, though? You're going to go to jail for murder.
Yeah.
How is this a solid plan?
Shoot the government in the face? Is this your idea?
Well, isn't that the purpose of being able to have your guns?
It's to defend ourselves against a fascist state, basically.
Right.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Did you memorize that?
I'm sure you just Googled it.
I memorized it before the show because I Googled it.
There you go.
Okay.
That works.
Both things are true.
Okay, but that still doesn't answer my question. Aren't you going to go to jail for murder? Because you're still murdering someone if you shoot them, regardless of the reason, unless it's self-defense.
If an individual shoots a member of the government, that is murder, yes. If the government is starting to gain too much power and the people together rise up against it, then they are defending a free state. And the government should always be afraid of that being a possibility.
Right, but one person has to incite that first bullet.
Right, some hero on the battlefield proving what can be done.
I don't know. I just feel like this is a really good way for you to end up in jail.
Well, only if it's just one guy, and then the rest of them, everybody behind you does what I do and runs.
But what if, I'm like, sure, they might rise up after you, but if you start the war between
revolution.
The revolution, that's the right word, then you're the one who might go to jail, or you'll just get shot by everybody else.
Honestly, people that are in those positions where governments are trying to control everyone and the people rise up, that's a revolution. You're going to have a leader, and that's the chance you take. You know that. You know if you get caught and they win, you will be going to jail. That's just something you accept. So yes, your answer
and
yes.
was the expression that everybody needs a God worth dying for, right? Like every war needs a martyr to fight for. So those first few people who get executed or imprisoned are necessary to a revolution anyway.
Okay.
Saying.
All right.
Not saying it's fun. I'm just saying.
I can't argue anything on history because I don't know anything about history. So if you
obviously you just found out that Vietnam was a thing like 2 weeks ago.
I knew Vietnam existed. I just didn't understand the specifics of it, and now I know the dichotomy of what happened. Like why
she would go visit Vietnam, and why do you hate me? I didn't do anything to you.
I love pho. It's so delicious.
Pho is pretty tasty.
I just learned that it's actually pronounced pho. I always called it pho.
I call it pho still.
I made a joke, and I said, where do you want to pho? Because the idea was I was supposed to go get pho with somebody. Mm-hmm. But, like, pho was supposed to be in replacement of go. And then, obviously, the joke didn't work through text as well because...
It doesn't work when you're telling it either.
Sorry, I'm not laughing.
Where do you want to
All right, so what was your actual question? I never got a chance to answer it.
Should the government be afraid of its people?
Yes, always.
Yes.
Should. I mean, that's a legitimate answer. It should always... I think we've talked about it on the show before. We're currently...
Have we?
Yeah, well, we're currently a culture of celebrities, and now politicians are celebrities, and that's not what the government should be.
I agree.
You should not be a rock star because you're serving your country, nor should you get 16 terms and control everything. Where we are currently is a huge problem, and if things don't come down in some way, I'm worried that there will be a revolution at some point.
And I'm for sure going to die.
I didn't say I'd participate. I'm just saying I think there's going to be one.
Ruh-roh.
I'm going to get killed running away. Speaking of which,
back.
I need to go to the gym and practice on the treadmill. I'm not going to be a martyr. I don't even know how to load a gun. How am I going to be a martyr?
No, if you're trying to run away from the conflict, you, a young single woman, get shot in the back as you're fleeing, people will rise up and fight around you.
You can be a symbol. The person that ran away and got shot. Ah, poor Amanda. We got her in the back.
That's not the thing I want people to take away from my life's journey.
Exactly. That's why I'm not going to be on the battlefield when there's like 10,000 people and there's only 12 of me.
How about we just don't have a revolution? That'd be good. I feel like that's a good start.
I don't think that's how these things work. I mean, government amasses too much power. They start to control their citizens. They get tired of citizens having their own opinions and thoughts, and they try to lock them down. That's usually how these things start. Most democracies, I think, historically only last like 212 years or something like that.
When was our last revolution?
1776, probably.
Oh, Abraham Lincoln.
What's in there?
No.
No, he was 18. He was 18.
Wow.
He was 18.
How did you graduate high school and college? I mean, at some point, nobody asks these questions. There's not a test.
Do you want to know the funniest thing?
This is not funny. It's more sad.
In college. Hold on, I can stop crying from laughing. I realized
she wrote a paper about how George Washington and Abraham Lincoln were best friends.
No.
They wrote the Constitution together.
Yeah. It was them and Bill Gates, I think, were the three. That's right,
that's when America was founded. Okay.
And Beyonce sang at the event.
The funniest part about all this is that when I think it was the last class I took before I graduated college, was for my associates, was a history class, and I did a 14-page paper on Abraham Lincoln, and I got an A.
Did you read Whatever you copied and pasted?
I didn't copy and paste. I really did write it. I knew immediately as soon as I said Abraham Lincoln, I was like, I'm 100 years.
Jeez.
He's also a vampire hunter.
That's historic. Wow. The education system has failed you.
Only in history and geography.
You mean like where you are?
Thank
God for Google Maps.
It's true. You don't need it.
Amen to that. But no, I used to think that Texas and California were connected at the side.
Oh my
They're
God.
not.
Oh my God.
No, they're not. They're a good state or two away.
How do I have a 3.5 GPA?
The education system has failed you.
I think that's probably a good Smirk episode. You got any other questions, Zach? Because I feel like now I'm just picturing Amanda starring in the remake of Clueless.
Off the rails. No, my that's what was just going to be the icebreaker I always do for new coworkers. Second Amendment thoughts?
Oh boy!
Wow,
That's a fun icebreaker.
That's a fun icebreaker. In terms of the notion of the Second Amendment is very important, I think, and still applies. We, like we do with everything in this country, have taken it to extreme lengths, and I don't think anyone should have 100 of anything in their house. Nobody should be a pack rat with guns.
Say that to your movie collection.
I was going to say, I got hundreds of games, man.
Okay. Well, nothing that can exterminate people. You probably don't need 100 of those. You know who has 100 of anything that can blow a hole in people? Gangs. And nobody thinks a gang is a good thing, right? So there you go. Look at it that way.
It's a family you make.
There is some truth to that. There's actually some truth to gangs do create a family for people that don't have them.
Well, see, it's a good thing.
I don't know about that.
I believe in the idea of the Second Amendment due to its nature of ensuring the government is afraid of you, because you need to have some way to combat them eventually, because all governments fail. But boy, we're trying to do our best to prove that we don't deserve them, huh? We can't be trusted.
Yeah,
that's kind of true. If we would just stop killing each other or abusing each other and all of that, that'd be a really good start.
Yeah, and unicorns, maybe we'll get some of those too.
I think it's a good idea that we need to continue with the Second Amendment. It's not something that we should. I don't even think we can take it away from the Constitution.
Oh, there's always ways to do it, but it's nowhere near as easy as politicians want you to think about. They're coming for your guns. No, they're not. Stop it.
But I will say, because I assume this is about the topic also of guns, that I think we should have some sort of background check to try to help prevent people who have mental illnesses from obtaining that, or at least going through an evaluation before you obtain one, just in case you have an undiagnosed mental illness that could cause you to. And not to say that a lot of perpetrators do have a mental illness. You know, statistically, those numbers are actually quite low. But I think that would at least circumvent people who shouldn't have a weapon from having it and then causing fatalities. That
it's all violent video games' fault.
No, it's not.
Yeah, well, I know. He was saying that.
You're being sarcastic because you're the video gamer.
No, yeah. Do you really think that I would believe that?
Well, maybe. I mean, you're a pretty dark person.
I do believe.
Whoa.
No, you're not that dark. I do believe that. I firmly believe to own a gun, you should be required to go through some sort of training.
For sure, yeah.
Unfortunately, most people don't believe that. I'm saying once you go through it, okay, it should be easier. But there should also be a limit on how many guns you can own.
Yeah, you get to own a gun.
Just one?
Yeah. If you're in a household with a spouse, that brings it up to 2 per household, which is probably more guns than you need. Yeah.
I mean, I'm okay with
a kid living with you, and now you got 3 or 4.
Hunting rifle, personal weapon, personal defense weapon, or something. And I don't know what the number is, and I don't claim to be an expert in this subject. Come on, let's have a cap. We definitely don't need anything semi-automatic. We definitely don't need AR-15s. That's just something that just should go away. And I'm firmly for the Second Amendment. And I definitely don't want to get into a big gun debate or anything on the show, but yeah, just put a limit on it and be reasonable with background checks and do a training course. That's all. And I think that's completely reasonable. Anybody who doesn't think it's reasonable, you'd have to explain to me why it's not reasonable.
Other than I want to keep my guns.
This is important. Was it Chris Rock who said that you should be charging about $1,000 per bullet? That's how you can control guns?
Yeah,
right?
Chris Rock had a great play. Because then if you kill somebody, they had it coming.
Oh, that's true. That is true.
He just put $4,000 worth of bullets in his ass.
That's really funny.
Oh, that's...
when we talk about how...
Oh, sorry, Amanda, you were saying.
When we talk about how with the Second Amendment, that's the way to basically ensure that our government keeps them afraid of its people. And one of the arguments that I've heard quite a bit about gun laws, not gun control, but gun laws, kind of like what Aaron was talking about, is that if you remove weapons that are available to the government and military from its citizens, then they're not as strong of a militia because they don't have access to the same type of automatic weapons that the military would.
Right. But you still have weapons.
Do you think that still makes you a strong militia?
No. Okay. Well,
didn't the Revolutionary War kind of prove that you can be undermanned and under-equipped and still win?
I don't know.
Yes, it did. Read a book.
Don't ask me.
I have to make this as clear as I can. If you're ever thinking that you can buy a weapon that is just as sound as what the military currently has, you are always going to be in the losing side of that. So it's a silly argument to me. I get people making it. Now, they should have guns, and that's why I say you should have maybe up to 5 or something. I don't know what the number is. I don't know. But to say, well, you should have the same kind of guns as the military, that's ridiculous. That's just somebody that likes guns and wants to shoot, just do crazy stuff and have all the latest weaponry, and they get into it. And it's like, roo-ha! It's a lot of that going on. No.
That was a very domineering voice.
It isn't the military. I get it. I mean, I get it. I don't agree with it, but I get it. I'm not knocking anybody that loves guns. I mean, everybody loves something.
And we have a restriction on every amendment. We really do.
There are gun restrictions. It just needs to be a little bit more stringent and some more requirements, I think, to owning one.
Training, I think, would be a really excellent step.
And I do think veterans should get an exception where they can have, maybe an extra few couple guns or something because they are frickin' veterans. I am firmly in the camp that veterans get zero respect in this country, where they should get a lot more than they do.
Like after Vietnam, they had no respect.
How do you know?
Because I just learned 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, you're an unreliable source.
I just learned. I went to an expert. Thank you very much.
They definitely do not get as much respect as they should.
They get a discount at IHOP.
I'm just going to ignore that.
That's terrible.
I'm just going to ignore that.
Yeah, somebody's going to laugh at that.
Not a veteran.
So do you guys think that story was truth or fiction?
Fiction.
Did you actually say that like you didn't know? The answer, it's fiction.
You don't know. Maybe this is the story that a tale from the person who shot that guy in his neck.
That guy's not telling that story.
You don't know?
That guy's never telling that story. All he's going to say is, flicked me in the neck. Weird.
No. There was the guy who got shot in the neck had shot somebody right between the eyes, and then he got shot in the neck. I'm saying the person that shot him in the neck could tell the tale.
I'm saying that guy wouldn't tell that story. He's only going to tell the story of how they won.
And I would be like, I got that guy. He was killing our people, and I got him.
It's fiction.
So the story was truth.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Are you lying to me?
Didn't you just make the case that it could be?
I did, but I didn't believe that.
It's the Battle of Lexington and Concord.
Oh, I did read about that once.
Stop, Amanda. Just stop.
I did.
Stop. This is the saddest thing I've ever experienced.
No, I read about the battle. I don't remember anything about it, but I remember it existed.
Painfully obvious. What is the title of your tale?
The Shot Heard Around the World.
So seriously, does that mean the guy who did take the shot did tell that story? Who told that story?
Well, I mean, I invented the character, but everything that happened, I cited some sources. I looked into this before I wrote the story, made sure the numbers added up. Because I didn't remember the reason the government, the Brits were there, but they were there because of stolen military supplies, stuff like that. I fact-checked. Thank you very much.
Okay.
You're definitely a much more reliable history
you got me,
rep than I am.
I did not think that was true. That was very well done.
Yeah, I originally wrote their crimson uniforms at the beginning, and I was like, that's a dead giveaway, though. Can't be talking about red coats. I'll just do it.
Not for Amanda. She wouldn't have any idea.
Zero. Why are you talking about Vietnam?
Zero.
Stop making fun of me.
Stop making it easy. As our show goes, we'll occasionally pick listener stories to read and discuss on Smirk. You try to catch up. If you'd love the chance to have yours read, email it to mystory@smirkpodcast.com. And please subscribe. Yes, do that. But also leave a review on Apple Podcasts or whatever you listen to. That would be great to help boost the show. We love that. Don't miss an episode. Be sure to subscribe. You can also find everything at our website, smirkpodcast.com.
And as you write your own life story, always remember to tell it with a smirk.
I'm just so disappointed.
Stop
in you as a
looking at me
person.
like that.
I feel sad for your education.
I'm really smart in so many other areas. I'm really good with English and science and psychology particularly. But when it comes to history and geography...
So when you vote, you just go, what's this about?
No, what I do when I vote is I look up each candidate and I look at how they feel about different issues. And then I go with the candidate that I think most aligns with my views.
What if their issue is, I don't like how we were treated in the Gulf War? Do you go, huh? What's that?
I guess I would have to Google. I would say, hey, Google, what's the Gulf War?
This is the saddest thing ever.
I hope somebody's phone just started opening up and pulled up the Gulf War.